Jeffrey, rise and shine,
Yeah.
young man. What's going on over there?
It's actually finally we got blue skies. A little windy,
Uh-huh.
but it's nice here in the valley.
Okay. Well, and I'm in Moraga, California. Drove up yesterday, I-5 on a Sunday. I don't know when you guys are listening to this recording, but it was over the long weekend, the President's weekend. It was a Sunday, and nobody out there on the road.
That's good.
So anyway, I'm up here. And so in the background, I mean, because I know you guys are all watching this every day. You're watching every episode, just like this great gal we just talked to, Colorado, who said, "Man, I've been watching you guys every day. I've seen every episode." And what was it that you said after we hung up was, "Wow, this is fantastic because."
She's speaking our language now. She's actually using our terminology, and I thought,
great.
this is just so good.
This is what we want.
People are understanding what we're talking about and actually adopting some of the terms.
That's
so
right.
They get, so it's cool.
And the reason I bring that up is the background here is not my desert background, right? This is my home in Moraga. So, and I see that Jeffrey hasn't shaved for a couple days. Son, you kind of going grizzly on us, or what's going on?
Well, I think, when I'm not on the court, I tend to let things run a little bit.
Well, we didn't actually plan this recording either. We had another session where we were doing some work. But listen, I got a question for you, and it's something that you brought up recently last week, which really intrigued me. In fact, I stopped you talking. I said, "Wait a minute, hold on, I got to write this down." But you mentioned something, and I guess I'm paraphrasing, but it was about how do you take your current stuff, whatever that is, right? Your current forehand, your current backhand, your current serve, your current mobility level. Whatever it is, how do you take it, that whole package, and actually take the whole package and just start playing at a higher skill level day in and day out without doing any kind of crazy tweak here, tweak there, do this, do that.
Right.
So I just wanted to follow up on that because I thought that was really intriguing what you said. And so, yeah, tell the fine folks what you meant by that.
That's a great question and a great pickup there in our last conversation. And honestly, I really got no idea. No, I was just talking. No.
All right, let's go on to question number 2.
Yeah, question number 2, please. No, I think this is really one of the most interesting, intriguing, and I think thought-provoking, and as well as it can be the biggest jump, one of the biggest jumps you make in your own game, and it doesn't matter what level you're at. The first key to this process is being honest about your current skill set. Not thinking you are the player you hope to be or the player you think you're working toward or the things that, other people tell you that you do well. We don't know who those people are, so we don't know. So really it's about, being clear about what is actually in your toolbox and then filtering that toolbox out so that you're actually getting down which are the tools that I actually like picking up, what are the tools that I can see that I'm consistent and I'm comfortable hitting, and what are the tools that I seem to have the best control of, that I seem to be able to use consistently and sustainably, right? So the list of what's in your toolbox could be much longer than the 2, 3, maybe 4 tools that really you should be honing your focus on. And so that's the biggest challenge. The first challenge is, can you get real with yourself about your current skill set and what's in your toolbox?
Yeah, it's the, what's it called? The Pareto rule, which is 80% of your results really come from 20% of your assets. Right? So it's kind of like, well, gee, I could, and we talk about this all the time, and in your famous words, variety is not really a strategy. It's just a potential menu that you could go ahead and pull out that that heavy windshield wiper topper, you could, but it would not get you 80% of the results that you want. It
Right.
might get you 20% of the results you want. So it's finding, it's really narrowing down by, as you say, being super honest with yourself about, you know what, I do these two things really, really well. And even if I tell the guy, hey man, I do these two things really, really well.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you tell him before the match, because within the first couple of games, he's going to know anyway, hey, this guy does these two things and I'm going to have to deal with it. And if you keep doing those two things really well, it's a winning strategy.
Totally. Totally. I mean, you know, a couple of, you know, basic examples would be, you know, Jim Courier, you know, one of the ultimate grinders, and just, you know, beat the living tar out of his forehand. And so, you know, when he went to Bollettieri, Nick goes, okay, let's look at the backhand, and went, okay, guess what, Jim? You're going to hit a lot of forehands.
Yeah.
And they built his career off of his forehand. Not that he had a horrible backhand, but that wasn't the shot maker. That wasn't going to be the magic maker. It was Jim's forehand, obviously. And that was married to one of the other assets, and this is something that you also should include in your asset list, is how are you competitively? Do you know how to compete? So, you know, Jim's biggest two assets, I think, my opinion, was his forehand and his just grinder, dog with a bone, pit bull attitude about not wanting to lose, about just, you know, one more ball. And just the fight in Jim was just, again, a remarkable asset that he had, that was, I think, one of the major ones that actually put him over the hump and for winning those Grand Slam events, you know. So,
well, look, I mean, if those were his two major assets, and you got to think about his opponents, and they were always thinking, God, I don't want to have to deal with his forehand, and I don't want to have to deal with his competitiveness. This guy's not going to go away. I got to figure out a way where I'm going to want it more than he does.
Right.
I'm not sure I actually know where that place is.
Right. And that's a big want. In that situation, that's a big want.
With him, that's right. That's right.
You know,
I guess my point is that he was completely transparent about it. Everyone knew it. Everyone in the locker room knew that, well, this is him. He's not going to show you anything different because you do this or you do that. You're going to have to deal with his two things. So
right. So then, you know, it becomes then the application of that, right? The application of knowing your skill set, knowing your toolbox, and then being able to formulate the right patterns of play that suit you, that get the patterns of play working for you,
right.
that those patterns are feeding your strengths, whatever they might be. And then on match days, sometimes you have to actually reduce your list sometimes, because on match day, everything doesn't necessarily show up. You know, I can think back when I played Berkeley in 2016. I just come back from the indoors up in Idaho and had a great week up there, the Cat 1 indoors. I think I quartered in singles, had a long, lengthy match in the quarters and lost 5 in the third, I think. But then we silvered in the doubles. So it was a great week. I played really solid all week. I was very pleased with the whole event. And then 2 weeks later, I'm playing Berkeley, the Cat 2 at Berkeley. And between, you know, Idaho and Berkeley, I had a few, you know, things, personal things happen. So mentally, I was not in a really happy place going into Berkeley. And so that became just a major challenge, just being able to pay attention and actually do the work. And so I get into I think it was my quarterfinal match, and playing a good baller, good, solid, steady hitter, makes you finish the point, right? And so I lose the first set 6-4. All the buddies, everybody's watching. Oh, my God, right? So all that crap is in there, right? Storytelling. And on that changeover after losing the first set, I did a quick assessment. I had the clarity of mind just to sit down and calm myself down and go, you know, I was constructing the points really well. I was doing everything I needed constructing the points. And normally when I would snap off the finish, I was yanking that ball a little bit. I was hitting it wide, hitting it long, catching the net a little bit. And so I couldn't get the focus on the finish. And so on the changeover, I went, okay, guess what? Today, you're just going to have to do the work. All Shawshank, all day.
Yeah, but when you say that you got to do the work, what you had decided to do was, here's what I've got today. And I'm not going to fight the reality of what I've got today. And for you or for someone else, that might mean, you know what? I don't have my pinpoint accuracy like I typically do to this one part of the court, so I'm going to have to do this other thing.
Correct. So what I eliminated was this is the ball that I normally finish on, right? That I close the point out on. And I went, we're going to have to move the margin in, and I don't care if he hits one more ball. If I have to hit one more ball into the middle of the cross court, and if it takes me one or two extra balls to get the job done, then so be it.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I just kept saying to myself, just do the work. Just do the work. And so I was able, with that little mantra, get my mind focused enough, and then I won the second and third set. I think it might have been 2-1 or 2-2. At the end of the match, I didn't feel any more comfortable than I did at the beginning of the match. But it was just the fact that I was able to corral my mind and do it. And I had to repeat the same performance in the semifinals. Same experience, lose the first set, I'm yanking the close, blah, 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 do the work, lose the first set, and then win the second and third set, I think 2-2. But I had to have the same changeover. When after I lost the first set, sat down and went, just mentally calm myself down and went, okay, guess what you get to do today? It's pack a lunch. You're just going to have to, do it.
Well, the other thing, too, that brings up for me is when you say that, all right, lose the first set, and then I decide to bring everything in. I decide to simplify everything, and you win 2-1, and then you win 2-2 in the next two matches in the second, third sets. And kind of like for me, I've had to do the same thing where I've come away from the epiphany for me is my perception of what I think I have to do against some of these guys is just skewed. I do not need to be doing that much, and that doesn't mean that I'm just kind of pushing the ball around, but my perception of what I think I need to do sometimes gets me out of my toolbox, gets me out of the real favorite tools that I've got, and it's nothing more than just either I feel a certain way today, or I think I'm giving this guy too much credit that if I don't go close to the line or don't do this or don't try to pull the trigger earlier in the point, and then you come away after losing the first set and you go 2-1, you go, God, come on, man. I mean, this is this is the, like you said, put on the hard hat, the blue collar work is the strategy that actually works.
Right.
And
exactly.
So for future matches, it's kind of like, wait a minute, now am I overthinking this thing? Am I perceiving I should be doing too much? Dude, come on. Remember back in Berkeley? Come on, remember?
Right.
So,
right.
Well, that's good.
So, and that's it. And the other thing is that, you don't know where your opponent is either. You can pick up some cues sometimes, but sometimes, they're good actors and they're just staying, keeping themselves under, emotional control. But you don't know either where they're at that day, and pressing them to hit just a slightly better ball, the extra ball that you're making them hit, one or two extra balls, is that the ball that gets them into that space? And all of a sudden, there's the errors that you normally see a shot or two earlier, but you're not catching it. You're not catching that. So finding that happy place between doing enough to inflict some pain, but then finding, but not doing too much where now you've done the work and now you're handing the point back at the end, So I think, so that's what I mean by, your skill set that you currently have is probably good enough to win more matches right now the way you have it. If you probably eliminate some of your other choices on your menu and get down to what are your favorite three things to do,
Right.
Now look at those three things, and now how do you build patterns around those three things that feed your strengths, and then that exponentially just raises your confidence to bigger levels, and then you start to dabble with the other stuff. I don't hit an angled drop shot, winner.
We've got a coaching call coming up.
We do.
Yes.
Oh, we do. Look at that.
So I'm gonna cut you off and say thank you. That was really a great answer, and you actually helped clarify it for me. And I had some good thoughts about just kind of the perception that sometimes I get into that I got to go. Come on. It's not this tough. So
simplify it.
Guys, hope you enjoyed today's light chat with Brent and Jeff. And we're still offering a free complimentary on us, on the house, 10-minute coaching call. Just three of us get on the phone. If you're out of the U.S., we can do Skype or we can do a Zoom webinar for that. But all we ask is that you bring that one thing in your game right now that you're just struggling with, cannot figure it out. It's just driving you nuts, and and you're ready. You're ready to kind of dig in. So what we'd love to do is get you on that free call. All you got to do is go over to goldballhunting.com, and you can get to our online schedule, pick out a day and time that works best for you, and we'll set up that call. So Jeffrey, on this point, we got to get this call, man.
Yeah, we do.
What do we want the folks to now do?
Like us, please share us, please subscribe, and let us know what you think. Comments below.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thanks again for hanging out with us today. Come on, get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. And young Jeff Jacklich, we'll do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.